Hello everyone, welcome to GLOBO, a video series to help you learn English. In the previous video, we learned to make complete sentences. In this video, we'll now add on to these sentences to provide further information. Let's go back to the sentence, "The boy chased the dog." This is a basic sentence that conveys a complete meaning. We might now wish to add to these sentences by answering the questions how, where, when, and why. This is done using an extension to the verb, in this case with a stick. This particular extension answers the question how the boy chased the dog. Extensions are commonly formed by taking a noun phrase like a stick and placing before it a special word called a preposition. Preposition shows the relationship between the noun phrase and the verb. Together, the preposition plus the noun phrase create what's called a preposition phrase. Extensions answering the question where and when are made in the same way with different prepositions. The prepositions that are often used are at, on, in, and to. To answer the question why, we can use the preposition for. So we can say the boy chased the dog for fun. We can add more than one extension to the verb. They're usually placed in this order: how, where, when, and why. We can also add an extension to a noun. The extension is formed in exactly the same way: a preposition, like with, and a noun phrase, a long stick. So we now have a new noun phrase, the boy with a long stick. This noun phrase can act as the subject or object of a new sentence. Let us go back to the sentence, "The boy chased the dog in the park." If we already know that we are talking about in the park, we can replace this by a single word. This single word is called an adverb. In this case, we use the adverb there. This is because we are answering the question where. In this way, we can use the four adverbs thus, there, then, and therefore to replace known topics in response to the four questions how, where, when, and why. The adverb there is also used to answer the question how many, as in, there are 3 boys. Another important class of adverbs are those that are formed from adjectives. Remember, an adjective is a word, like slow, that is used to describe a noun. The adverb is formed by adding the particle "ly" to the end of the adjective. We therefore obtain the adverb slowly. Slowly answers the question how. We will now look at forming a question. We will only consider the less formal way of forming a question, for instance, when you're talking with your friends. This is opposed to the more formal way that you would use at school or at work. Let us consider the statement, for instance, "the boy swims," where we do not know that it is the boy who is swimming. In forming the question, we replace the unknown noun, the boy, with the appropriate interrogative pronoun. The interrogative pronouns are who for a person, what for a non-person, and whose for a possessive noun. So the corresponding question is who swims? In the same way, if the statement is "the dog swims," the appropriate question would be what swims? And if the statement is "Ben's dog swims," and we want to know who the possessor is, the appropriate question is whose dog swims? This works equally well if the unknown noun is the object of the sentence. So if the statement is the boy chased the dog, but we don't know that it is the dog, the question we ask is the boy chased what? This would also work for a how, where, when, or why question. The interrogative word could be put in the place of the unknown extension. So for the statement, the boys should swim there, the corresponding question would be, the boys should swim where? For a yes or no question, that is a question for which the answer is yes or no, we could take the statement and add at the end of the statement the word right. So, yes, the boy should swim. The boy should swim, right? Right here means correct. So in other words, the questioner is asking if the statement is correct. We've already seen how the conjunction and can join two noun phrases. The same conjunction can join two verbs having the same subject or even two separate sentences. When two sentences are joined in this way, the original sentences are called clauses. The conjunction and is used to join clauses that are equal. For instance, we can reverse the order of the clauses to say Ben talked and Adam walked, and the meaning is the same. There are two other conjunctions that work in a similar way. The conjunction but is used to join two clauses that appear to be the opposite of each other. So, Adam was in the park, but Ben was in the library. Or is used to join two clauses that cannot be true at the same time. So, Adam was in the park, or he was in the library. Sometimes we want to join sentences that are not equal. Consider, for instance, the sentences, the boy walked in the park and he was happy. We specifically want to join the sentences to explain that the way that he walked in the park or how he walked in the park was like he was happy. So to do that, we insert the conjunction like. Like is a conjunction that expresses the relationship between the first clause and the second. In this context, the first clause is called the main clause. That's the main sentence. We add an extension clause, he was happy, to explain how he walked in the park. The extension clause, like he was happy, becomes an extension of the verb. We can add extensions for each of the main questions, how, where, when, and why. We can use different conjunctions for each of these, like, where, when, and because. Another type of conjunction that we might want to use is with certain expressions that are very common in English. For instance, I know, you are happy, or impersonal expressions like it seems or it is important. We call them impersonal expressions because it doesn't really stand for anything. We add the second clause, they are here, using the conjunction that. Another common conjunction is used when the extension clause answers the question why. It is important in this case that the subject, in this case the boy, is the same in both the main clause and the extension clause. We use the preposition to, which in this case acts more like a conjunction. We drop the subject in the extension clause. This is because the subject is the same subject, in this case the boy, as in the main clause. Also, the verb in the extension clause, in this case visit, must be put in the infinitive form. We remember that the infinitive form for most verbs is the same as the simple present. So the full sentence reads, the boy traveled to town to visit his uncle. This construction is often used with verbs of obligation or desire, such as I love, I hate, I need, or I want. We can also add an extension clause to a noun phrase. Consider the sentence, I saw the boy, and we want to add more information about the boy. The information we want to add is, the boy chased the dog, and we want to add this information in the same sentence. This is done using the relative pronoun that. That replaces the boy in the extension clause. It is placed immediately after the same noun in the main clause. So we say, I saw the boy that chased the dog. We do the same thing if it is the dog that we want more information on. We use the relative pronoun that to replace the dog in the extension clause. We then place this relative pronoun immediately after the same noun phrase in the main clause. The resulting sentence is, I saw the dog that the boy chased. Let's go back to the sentence, the boy chased the dog. Chased, as we said before, is a transitive verb because it takes both a subject and an object. In English, the subject goes before the verb and the object goes after. In this sentence, the boy is the agent of the verb. That is, it is the boy who is doing the chasing. The dog is the recipient of the verb. It is the dog that is being chased. This arrangement is what is called active voice. In active voice, the subject is the agent of the verb, and the object is the recipient of the verb. English provides us a way to flip this arrangement, so that the recipient, the thing being chased, is the subject of the verb and goes before the verb, and the agent, which is doing the chasing, is the object of the verb. In order to do this, we need to do three things. First, we need to put the main verb in the past participle form. For many verbs, the past participle is the same as the simple past. We then place before the main verb the appropriate form of the verb is. Because the original sentence was in the past tense, we use the past tense of is, in this case was. Finally, we place the preposition by after the past participle of the main verb. The new sentence is therefore, the dog was chased by the boy. In this new arrangement, the dog, which is the subject of the verb, is now the recipient of the action of being chased, whereas the boy, which is the object of the verb, is the agent. It is what is doing the chasing. This reversed arrangement is what is called the passive voice. We can use the past participle as an adjective. When used as an adjective, we are describing the noun as the recipient of the verb. Hence, the chased dog is a dog that is or was at one time chased. Compare this to when the present participle is used as an adjective. When the present participle is used as an adjective, it describes the noun as the agent. Hence, the chasing boy is the boy that is actually doing the chasing. With practice and applying what you have learned from these videos, you can now make reasonable sentences in English. I hope you continue to have fun learning and using English. Take care.